Hey, very good day to one and all. For today's video on growing a tree of prosperity, I'm going to talk a little bit about why REITs remain a very good bet in this current market today. And at the moment, I think the context is that the STI has advanced beyond 4,200 points. And so the question is, are REITs a good investment moving forward? I'm going to provide to everyone two reasons why REITs are a relatively good bet, and I'm going to talk about three ways to play this strategy. Okay, all right. So the first reason why REITs are relatively attractive right now is that actually REITs have not really advanced at all in this current stock market, right? If you look at the charts that I have here, right, and I'm sorry, it's sort of swapped, right? If you look at REITs at the moment for the past 10 years, it has still returned 0%. All right, and I'm using the S REITs, the Philips S REITs ETF. Okay, so we're not really getting any positive returns even after factoring for dividends for the past decade, right? On the other hand, if you look at the numbers for the STI has given 10% for the past 10 years. So we can conclude that the local stock markets have gone up, but our Singapore REITs have still been left behind, which means that there is still a lot of upside left to go. All right, so this is one of the reasons why I think if you look at banks as well as some blue chips, they've advanced very much ahead. Uh, our real estate investment trusts have not. All right, so that's the first reason. And the second reason is that we are in the process of interest rates getting down further as Trump is ramping up pressure on the Fed to lower interest rates. And the Fed obviously needs to remain independent, but what Trump has been doing is that he's been cycling, I think, some of the Fed board members into some people that agree with his approach, right? So he's putting dovish people in the Fed. So we should still be expecting about one or two interest rate decreases in 2025, right? In fact, if there's only going to be one interest rate decrease this year, REITs are going to stay flat or it might go down further. But I think that's good news, right? Because we've been patient for so long, we can be patient very much further. And the tailwinds on the REITs backs, as loans become cheaper, we have plenty of time to accumulate the REITs. This is not like you only have a small 3 to 4 month window to buy REITs before they start going up. I think we could be looking at a very nice bargain period, maybe lasting 6 months or more, for you to just accumulate your salary and farming it into the real estate investment trust over the next few months. Okay, so these are the two primary reasons, and I think that these two reasons are sound, right? They're sound given that REITs have not moved up a lot. So how do we actually come up with a strategy to play the REITs? I think that there are three strategies that you can apply. I'm going to arrange them in increasing amounts of risk. Okay. So the lowest risk strategy is to simply take your banks, sell some of it, and rotate them into real estate investment trusts that are found in the STI. So you can sell some of your UOB, OCBC, and DBS, and then you can buy some of the Capital Land, Mapletree, or Frasers REITs in the STI, right? For local investors who are more adventurous, okay, but you're still not taking a lot of risk, you can sprinkle some REITs with a lot of Singapore property, right? Sabana comes into mind. OUE REIT still has high yields. And possibly, if you're more adventurous, you can try something like ESR that has been rebounding and recovering. Okay, so I think the aim is to preserve dividend yields, maintain the stability of your portfolio, all right, and hopefully over the next few months, when the interest rates begin to trend down, you will see some capital gains as well. All right, so this is a safer strategy. All right, rotation from banks into REITs. Okay, let's go for something that is a little bit riskier. Okay, so for those with a higher risk appetite, you want to consider these high yielding REITs with foreign properties. So there has been a lot of REITs, because they're not denominated in Singapore dollars, somewhat misunderstood. And we are looking at very, very high dividend yields. Okay, so REITs with properties overseas, you want to look for something with high dividends, low price to book ratio. Temporarily, there might be declining DPUs, that's why it's cheap. Okay, and you hope that you can benefit from yield compression in 2026. Okay, so I've given three examples here for you to look at: United Hampshire, Daiwa House, and Elite. Right, so we've got US, Japan, and England. Right, and the Yahoo Finance data for England says 4.46% dividend yields. That's not my experience on the ground. I'm seeing numbers higher than 8%. Okay, from our local SGX website. All right, so between Yahoo Finance and the SGX website, I would like to think that the SGX website has probably more accurate data. Okay, now, because if you're doing this strategy, most of your dividends are denominated in foreign currencies other than Singapore dollar, you might want to consider diversifying between different currencies, which is why I've listed a US, a Japanese, and a UK REIT for you to consider. All right, and you need to diversify across many of these currencies so that you wouldn't be hurt so badly, right? Especially when the Singapore dollar were to strengthen against all these currencies at one go. Okay, so this is a very attractive high yielding REIT strategy. I have plenty of these stocks myself. Sometimes you are sitting on capital losses, but after a while, the dividends do tend to overwhelm and overcome the losses in capital that you have. All right, so very, very good kind of strategy for I think people who like to see a lot of dividends in their portfolio. Okay, now I have a riskier strategy than that, so I'm going to share with you now. Okay, so for the past 3 to 4 years, REITs that own US properties are doing very, very badly. Okay, and they've lost investors a lot of money, and they've also halted their dividends. All right, they've halted their dividends. So with rising interest rates, COVID-19, work from home initiatives, people are not so eager to own these US office properties, but they're so cheap right now that you can buy $1 of property with about 30 cents. Okay, so you could actually buy these stocks and wait for the dividends to come back, right? Yeah, so for Keppel Pacific Oak, which I have a decent amount of, I probably should expect dividends to come back sometime in 2026. So in the meantime, I'm not making money. I'm not getting paid for owning this stock, but I could accumulate it and then hope for a massive capital gain as well as a fat dividend much later down the road. Okay, so do remember that this is probably the highest risk strategy that I've shared with you today, so don't commit too much to this. Make sure that if you were to put your money into these US office REITs, it's money that you can afford to lose. All right, so to summarize what I've just said, okay, the stars are aligning into REITs as a good investment in SGX as reductions in interest rates were to come around at the end of the year. This can be done over the medium term, which means that there is no rush. You can take a little bit of your salary and put more into real estate investment trust for the next 6 months. And make sure that you diversify your bets over different stocks, and you can afford to be patient and diversify over time as well. Okay, all right, so how do you help me? If you like my material, buy me a coffee, right? If you want to listen to my life story, then Google ERM intro, take the first link, come for my 1.5 hour preview, and I'll talk a little bit about my life, what my background is, where I come from, how I attain financial independence. All right, so with that being said, thank you very much for listening to my video, and I'll see you on our next video. Bye bye.